Rồi, hello mọi người, mình trở lại phòng họp hội đồng thành phố ha. Hình như trong đây họ vẫn còn đang họp, chưa đến phần phát biểu. Mình chờ để tối nay mình cũng muốn lên phát biểu ha, để coi còn chừng nào mới phát biểu.
This is to adopt a resolution entitled "A Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Westminster, California, to direct staff to implement recommendations made in the feasibility study prepared by consultant team led by Economic and Planning Systems for upzoning the mixed-use zone for residential development, expanding the area of the mixed-use district, and incentivizing strategies for lot assimilation, and finding that this direction to implement the feasibility study is exempt from the California Environment Quality Act." I'm going to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Like I mentioned before, we need to ask the community input and we need the homeowners' input before we move forward and bless this project. We are putting the cart before the horse, like I mentioned earlier, and that's not right. So I will stand for the resident of Westminster, so my vote tonight is no.
Councilmember Monzo?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho?
Yes.
Mayor Wynn?
Yes.
3-1, motion carried.
Again, thank you on behalf of the City Council and City staff. I would like to thank you for spending time and develop the presentation and be here presented to us. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, next item is item 7.1, establishment of the Measure Y and E Citizen Oversight Committee. This one I'm a little bit confused, and I'd like to have a clarification from staff. For this item here, I believe that you want to have rescinding resolution 5245, and you want to adopt the committee's rules and responsibility. Is that correct?
So if I could give a little bit of oversight. So currently we have Measure Y Citizens Oversight Committee that's currently seated by 5 members that the City Council has selected. That committee has already had a adoption of a resolution which has established the roles and responsibilities as committee members. With the adoption and approval by the voters back in March for Measure E, what we would like to do is actually combine the 2 measure committees to be held under one committee. This would now be considered the Measure Y and Measure E Oversight Committee. And in order to do that, we would need to rescind the Measure Y resolution and make a new resolution that would oversee both of those committees. It would be housed as one committee versus 2 separate due to the fact that it's the same tax per se, just different amounts.
Okay, so what do you mean by resolution number XXX? Is that resolution to substitute?
I'm sorry?
I don't understand when you have this draft version of the resolution.
Yes, so that's the new resolution that we're requesting the council to approve and adopt.
Okay, so you rescind resolution 5245 and replace with the new resolution that also adopt with committee's rules and responsibility.
Correct.
All right, thank you. Okay, at this time, if there's a motion, I will entertain the motion. If there's one, if not, then if council want to discuss about it, then we can go ahead and take time to do that. Any council want to discuss about this item? If not, is there any motion to approve?
Yeah. I would like staff to do a quick presentation. That would be great.
Okay.
For the combination of Measure Y and Measure E.
I don't have a presentation prepared, but the funding is very similar. So the committee would be reviewing the same information. So in order to meet the requirements of the ordinance for both Measure Y and E, we need to have an oversight committee, and so it would be I think more efficient to have the members serve on both, since it would be the same information provided. So staff's asking to combine the committees Y and E using the same members. The same requirements are required for both measures. And just to combine them to I guess, be more efficient.
Okay, what I'm seeing, your
We
side.
started, I'm sorry about that. If that's the case, then maybe you can restart the 5 minutes, please.
Okay, so what I'm seeing is you want to consolidate for efficiency.
Well, yes, because it's required by both measures. So when the voters approved Measure Y, the oversight was required, and when the voters approved Measure E, the oversight was required with the same requirements. So rather than have two committees meet on the same item, to combine them for efficiency.
Right. Now, what I'm seeing is this is a total of 1.5% tax increase in the city of Westminster. So when we have two measure, which is a 0.5, those who are on that committee can decide that in a 1% tax. The other committee can do that. So for me, I see a split of committee as a good balance for the city of Westminster because we cannot put everything in, all the egg in one basket for those 5 board member, committee member to decide on the 1.5% tax increase. So what I'm saying is that we need to keep it separate to have a check and balance. If the 5.5% tax, right, that we have, that we recently just have increased, right, in the city of Westminster,
Correct.
We need a committee for that to decide that of 5 different appointees from the council and the mayor here. And then the other 1% that recently we passed last year, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, then we need the other committee that we already appoint to keep them there.
Okay, but the council makes the decision on how the funds are spent. The committee members for both review the annual financial report, which encompasses the entire city. So the money that's specific to Measure Y and E are both included in that report. And it also, the committee would review the revenue and expenditures as approved by the council for both of those funds in the budget. And then they would report their findings to the city council. So it's absolutely the council's call how you would like to handle that. They'd just be reviewing the same information. So you can have
Right.
10 members review the exact same information.
Right, I understand that, but one is a 1% tax, the other is 5% tax. What I'm saying, if we need to use anything for the city, not the whole 1.5 go into something like a department. When we have 2 committee of 1% tax and the 5% tax, they can dish it out to different committee. If the 1% decided they want to do it for the police, then the 5% can say, hey, we want to focus more on the J department, you know, for example, of public works. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say?
No.
Is that we need that split for the reason of check and balance, and also for the balance of different departments. So not one money, a system of 1.5% tax go toward one department that you guys like. For example, we need to split it in different ways. So basically, whichever department can lobby, right, for the 1% or the 0.5%, or the lobbying of the public on the 1% and the 5%. So that way, not the 1.5% go into whatever this 5 committee member decided, studied, and then brought it before the council. I don't like that. I like the mix, but that's my thought. But of course, it depends on the majority of the council here, what they want. But I'm speaking for the resident, and that's the reason why I want that check and balance of the split. Because we voted at different times, the 1% tax and the 0.5% tax. There needs to be a split and a different. So we can't just put everything in one egg basket. So that we cannot consolidate. Consolidation is kind of scary in government entity.
So it's the council's decision, but at this point, the committee is not allocating the funding, the council is allocating the funding.
Absolutely, but the committee make the decision and present the fact, what they study, what they found, finding to the council. I understand that, but I want check and balance. For example, you go to the doctor, right? One doctor said, you need to go get this x-ray, you have this cancer. And then, of course, you always want to get second opinion. What if the other doctors say, no, you don't have it, right? That's all I'm saying.
Of course, it's the council's decision.
Absolutely. So whatever the majority here will decide, we all know tonight. But for me, I'm speaking on behalf of the people, and I think there needs to be the split, the accountability. And so that's why it's very important to me. And consolidating power is scary to me, especially with the 1.5% tax. That's a lot. So I think it's the best interest of this council and the city to have it split.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, the Vice Mayor, you recognize.
I will pass over to you and I go after you.
Okay, Councilmember Meza.
I don't know if I really want to entertain that, but we just got to move forward.
Okay.
It's a lack of understanding. Right.
Thank you. As for me, I think that this is the same part of money. It's going to the city, and the city is going to do it, whatever we decide. And the thing that we need to know that rather having two different councils to determine and then the idea is going to be collided or it's going to be different. It's probably more difficult. And at the same time, I don't think that it's wisely to have two different communities for the same purpose of the tax, from the tax standpoint. And the most important thing is that whatever they decide, whatever they decide, they are just advisors to the city council. And we are the one who make decisions. It's always come back here for us to make the final decision. We can decide whether the money is going to be well spent for something else. That's up to the council. Am I correct?
That's correct. The council makes
Thank you very much. Okay, at this time here, they can go for the second round.
No.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, I move to approve.
All right, I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, seconded by Councilmember Monzo.
It was, excuse me, Vice Mayor.
Oh,
This is
Second by myself.
okay. I will update it. All right, I have a motion made by Vice Mayor Ho, seconded by Councilmember Monzo. This is to adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Westminster, California, rescinding resolution number 5245 to establish the Measure Y and E Citizens Oversight Committee and adopting the committee's roles and responsibilities." I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Before I vote, like I mentioned, I'm going to say it in a different way. Basically, it was voted 2 different tax increase from different group of people. Maybe some overlap with the same people that wanted this. But the thing is that for check and balance, I think it's important to not consolidate the tax, both tax increase together into one basket. It is important for check and balance and different opinion. And I say again, and I will vote no for that. I want transparency, I want accountability, and I don't want consolidation of increased tax together into one basket.
Thank you.
So my vote is no.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes, but I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the current members. And I do recognize some longtime members such as Diana Lee Carey, who's the vice chair, and Michael Valencia. Thank you so much, and I see you there. And my comment is, I did make my comment earlier, in that it's really hard to find quality members, volunteers. They're all volunteers. And so I don't understand the meaning of having 2 separate groups. I understand what Councilmember West was saying, but I really feel like it's more important to have dedicated members who are going to be overseeing, and it's good to have just one
So your vote is
committee. So I did vote yes.
Mayor Nguyen.
yes.
Motion carried 3-1.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I would like to open up for oral communications for non-agenda items. So, City Clerk, would you please read the instruction into record? And it's the same thing as I read earlier. We have the policy for the road decorum, so it's the same thing applied. I don't think that I need to restate of what I told, what I read earlier, but please consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding any non-agenda items that are within the subject matter jurisdiction. Unless otherwise extended by a majority vote of the City Council, comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Any person wishing to address the City Council in person should complete a yellow speaker slip that is provided at the entrance to the council chambers and submit the card to the City Clerk. When your name is called, please step to the podium at that time, state your name and city of residence for the record. Our first speaker is Julia Deep, followed by John Gentile.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, City staff, and residents of Westminster. I want to start by saying thank you. Thank you for allowing me, Julie, to serve as the Vice President of the Westminster Community Foundation for about a year. Thank you to City Councilman Carlo Manso for the nomination. Carlos, you are truly a great leader. You have given me the trust and the tools to serve with undue influence. I want to take this time to thank the following colleagues with whom I have the honor of serving alongside on the WCF board for their tireless effort towards building an inclusive foundation. Thank you to Ms. Jackie Vaughn Wright for your commitment to seniors and families, and especially for your mentorship. Thank you to John Gentile for your advocacy for small businesses. And thank you to Camila Overby for your commitment to records and accountability. And I also want to thank the past WS board member, Frank Berry, for your ongoing service to the community. Contrary to the WSF President's belief, the main goal of the foundation is not only to fundraise for the TED Foundation. Despite multiple attempts for WCF to outreach to the different communities within the city and to support monthly city events, WCF continues to have a limited vision because of the leadership and stagnant at this time. As long as WCF board member continue to be nominated by the City Council and not operating autonomous from the city, this foundation will not be effective to serve the residents without outside influence and a revolving door. We have not been able to keep a full board and operate fully. And the refusal of the board to meet to change the bylaw prepared by the city and city attorney under the City Council direction led me to this decision today. At this time, I want to say publicly that I am going to resign due to the lack of leadership, vision, accountability, and respect for my personal contribution to the foundation. I regretfully resign, but the reason I want to do it publicly is because I want to make sure the council is very well aware that I want to serve the city. I want to serve the residents. I care deeply about uniting this community. As long as residents see me as a Vietnamese resident or an immigrant, I think there's a lack of unity. I want you to see me first as an American of Vietnamese heritage. I want you to see me also as a leader. In 2023, when I started, I led and worked well with the board. But when I was challenged and said that I was overstepping my boundaries, and I'm not the president, I stepped back in 2024 so that they can lead. So, thank you.
On behalf of myself, I deeply thank you for your sacrifice and your commitment to our community. I know that this is just a tip of what you do for our communities. So I thank you very much, and I have a lot of respect for you as a person. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for your commitment and your sacrifice. Thank you.
Julie, I really appreciate you helping out, you know, with the team, with the Westminster Community Foundation. I appreciate your input. I hear good things about it. Now, my question is, why aren't there any unity? You guys have the majority. You guys can run. You guys have the majority of 3. They appoint their people. You guys should have the unity. Why aren't you guys having unity? Is this me and Namkrong appointee, which is Casey and one of his guy? But the thing is that you guys have the 3. You guys can do whatever you want in the Westminster Community Foundation.
I don't understand what you mean by the majority.
We have to
I don't think that we
appoint.
have to
The
discuss
3 of
this
us here
together.
appoint. Carlos
So-
Monzo appoint you, right?
So same thing as
We
council
appoint
members.
Gentile.
I
Carly
don't think that we
appoint
need to
Dominic, his
discuss. I
brother-in-law.
don't think that we need to discuss.
I just don't
that
understand
here.
why there aren't
My-
unity.
My point is, same thing with Councilmember Mezzo and Councilmember West. We appreciate for your time that you serve WCF, and it was successfully ran for the past year. So again, thank you for your service. And at this time here, I don't think that we need to go into a discussion. Am I right about that?
Yeah, correct. You can agendize it for another meeting for discussion, but at this time.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you
Nice
for
to
your
meet you.
service.
Our next speaker is Sean Chotel, followed by Kai Gauss.
Hello, council members. I too am a member of the Westminster Community Foundation. I'm also a member of 2 other foundations, so I'm pretty on board in how foundations should work. It does not appear that the foundation, the Westminster Community Foundation, is a good fit for me. I've been saying since the day I've been there, the direction it should be going. My foundation has done 250 fundraiser sponsorships or donations, giving back to our community like $450,000. So I got going to the Westminster Community Foundation. It was going to be a fundraiser for the city. Using the word Westminster Community Foundation. The word community should not even be in there in the name of that. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm going to rag on that on the foundation. Lots of good people there, and I'm only speaking for myself. I'm just not a good fit. Okay, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not a good fit. Ms. Ho, thank you very much. It was an honor, but once again, I'm just not the right person for that foundation. So I am also resigning. Thank you very much.
Well, John, thank you for your service, and I regret to see you go. And if there's anything you'd like to help us to improve the foundation, we could speak privately about it. Thank you very much for your service.
I told Dominic that if he needs volunteers for the tech parade or the gala, give me a call. I'm more than happy to help him with that. But it has to be for the whole community. That's why I'm dropping out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John, thank you so much for your sacrifice and your commitment to our community. I know you do a heck of a lot for our city and our community and our first responders, our police department, everything you've done. We all know, the community knows what you and your foundation have done for our cities. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I do have a chance to work with you during the big gala, and I appreciate for all the help that you put in at the time. So
And thank you both for attending mine.
thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much.
John, I just want to say thank you so much for being part of the Westminster community. I attend your fundraising event at your, community, I guess your nonprofit, and I appreciate all you do because it was a success. And I'm sorry that, unfortunately, the Westminster community, there's, like Julie mentioned, no unity, nor there is not a fit. I guess my suggestion to you, I would love to get your input. what do you think can change? I would love to take that input.
All right.
I can do that with you, I just don't want to do it right here.
Not a problem, I'll give you a call. Thank
Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Kai Gao, followed by Michael Vergia.
Good evening, everyone. Actually, my plan to be here tonight, I was gonna put on a show. I was afraid that someone might lose control, might not be able to control their temper, even has to draw their weapons. Even I have to be escorted out of this chamber. But I'm glad I didn't have to resort to that. Before I begin, Mr. City Attorney, when I'm speaking up here, am I allowed to speak to staff? Do you criticize the police department, police officer, or just only allowed to address the council members?
Can speak to anything within the city's subject matter jurisdiction.
Thank you, sir.
I want to clarify that. We have agenda item and non-agenda item.
I'm talking about non-agenda.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. But I'm glad I didn't have to do that. I might come back and have to readdress it. But first of all, I don't know. Before I start, I'd like to commend the police officers tonight to keep that cool, and I forgot what's the term I was going to use, but I'm very grateful for their reaction and how they would be able to not get involved with the commotion that took place just a while ago. And to cut it short, I heard that they're trying to do all kind of pressure, and so I hope Mr. City Attorney, you or the police officers, police chief, will do the right thing, and you guys will do your thing the way it's supposed to be, according to the law, and not be pressured by any gang, any majority, any minority, from the mayor or from any members, because I hate to see that, the staff of you guys lost track of your professionalism, of your duty, not doing what you're supposed to do here, but take side and behave, reacting unbecoming of an officer. So I leave that to the next meeting, but tonight I was very happy how the police officer were able to keep that going. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Michael Vergia, followed by Roger Lindrum.
Thank you. I have just a couple of items I'd like to touch base on. We've seen over the last 2 or 3 meetings an actual plan. I'm sorry, I just went blank on it. I'm sorry, we have 2 council members who are purposely obstructing the business of the council by not bothering to show up at closed session. Today was a good example. Now, Ms. West, Mr. Wynn over here, decided that they weren't going to be in closed session. But I noticed Mr. Wynn sure got his happy ass out here to the alleged press conference that was being held outside while he was recording the speakers out there. Well, if he can get here for that, he can drag himself inside here and go into closed session. Ms. West, the same thing. The last meeting, how many times did the council break to try and get closed session business taken care of? Neither one of them did. They went outside and they hung out with their toadies outside the council chambers here. They weren't interested in council business. That's the case. Maybe they need to both resign and let somebody else come in and do their job. The second thing, all the talk Ms. West puts out about First Amendment rights only pertain to her. What you have in front of you is a complaint that she lodged with the assistant presiding judge, Superior Court, when I was the foreperson of the grand jury of the 23-24 Orange County grand jury. You see the response in there. She didn't like the fact that I commented on her official Westminster page. There was nothing threatening about it. I called her on the carpet for her stupid comments and the ridiculous items that she puts on there. Sorry, if you're going to post that stuff on there, you're going to face the music from people who follow you. She didn't like it. She lodged a complaint, and you can see the response. I retained my First Amendment rights. At no time did I project this as being a grand jury issue. At no time. That's why that response reads that way. So all her lame talk about, oh, I'm losing my First Amendment rights, that only pertains to her. She doesn't care about anybody else. I'm sorry to rant, folks, but that pissed me off. Thank you.
The next speaker is Roger Mindrum, followed by David Johnson.
Roger Mindrum. Thank you, Michael. This is actually going to be a good segue because I have basically the same subject that Amy Fan West has violated my civil rights regarding if I criticize her without fear of reprisal. Right here it is, in case anybody was still wondering what her attack was about that she mentioned last week. If y'all recall, she came back in here and said, oh, I missed this closed session because I was out back making a police report. Well, apparently her first escape out of the room to be a derelict of her duties here was to run out in the parking lot, which I happened to be in the parking lot in my car eating my dinner because these meetings start at 6 p.m. now and I'm driving 25 miles from my workplace in LA. So I stopped at Bob's Burgers and grabbed a patty melt, sit in my car, and she turns out to make a 100% fabricated false accusation that I stalked her, harassed her, and apparently at the dais here said I attacked her. She didn't name me by name on the dais, so she gets away with that legally. But if we all put the pieces together regarding the police report, what she said here, making a police report, and then saying that she was attacked in the parking lot, that was me she was talking about. When approximately 18:20 to 18:30 hours, Fan West left the council chambers to get a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Yeah, right, a cup of coffee. No, to ditch the meeting. When she returned to the same parking lot, she observed a male subject who she immediately recognized as Roger Mindrum, sitting inside of a vehicle. West stated she recognized Mindrum as Carlos and Kimberly's supporter, referring to Councilmember Carlos Manzo and Councilmember Kimberly Ho. She stated that she had seen Mindrum at numerous council meetings and believed that he was stalking her. West believed Mindrum was stalking her and stated, he's waiting for me. He knows my car. Mindrum remained in his vehicle, made no gestures toward West, and did not say anything towards her. I'm not going to have enough time here, but I'm just going to give a little more of an excerpt here. West stated she did not feel safe because of all the comments that were left on her social media page, but from Mindrum and other activists. She was also afraid Mindrum would tap her car and put a mic on her car. After parking her vehicle, there's a lot more here. So this will be published publicly. If anybody would like to hear more about this or read this, reach out to me. Something needs to be done here, Charlie. Legally, something needs to be done here.
Our next speaker is David Johnson, followed by Tina Tapia.
Good evening, Johnson, resident of Westminster. And I want to thank John and Julie for all the work they do in our community and for that foundation. They're both wonderful people, and I know that they both have hearts for this city and this community. So thank you for all the time that both of you spent on that, and thank you for everything else you do in your community as well, not just the foundation. Both of them are excellent people. To answer Council Member West's question, how could the 5 of you vote on something and then the next morning all email each other breaking the Brown Act saying, oh, I want to change my vote, and then you literally change the vote? You can't do that, right? You can't say you're the mayor, or let's say the president of the foundation, and then have somebody else write their name on a legal document that they were the president, right? You can't come together as a board and vote that, yes, we will take into the needs of the whole community and not just do the Tet Parade, but do other things too for other segments of the community that aren't necessarily Vietnamese. And all agree to that, all vote to it, and then suddenly change your minds because they spoke to council members that, oh, we're not going to do that. And then they refuse to meet on it and discuss it again and put that into the bylaws. And that's just 3 examples. There's many. The bottom line is there are certain members that are fantastic, wonderful people that really mean well. And there's other members that just don't have the professionalism to be on a board, don't have the experience to be on a board, and are not running the board with proper governance. And I want to focus on that, just organizational health and proper governance. So I'll leave it at that. One other thing I want to say is I'm not speaking on behalf of the trustees of the school district in Westminster, although I am one. I'm only speaking on behalf of myself. But I think that they would probably agree with me that it is fantastic that this city worked so hard to get that grant that the city manager mentioned earlier. There was over $1 million for safe pathways and for our roads, and that's going to keep our community safe, and it's going to keep our children safe. And I think that certain members of this cabinet have done decades of work in getting these kind of grants to our city to help our community and to help our children as well. And I just want to thank you and congratulate you on that hard work and the success that you've done. So thank you very much.
Before we go on, I understand that we voted to could not go past 11, but this is continuous of the item, so I think that we need to finish it.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Johnson, may I address? I really appreciate that. That shed some light, because when I appointed my board member, they don't talk to me regarding what you guys vote or whatever decision you guys make. But it's eye-opening that some board member and council member are kind of like talking to each other. When we made the Westminster community was to separate ourselves from the elected official. That's the purpose. If you look back, that's the purpose. But I'm sorry that some of the council member or mayor here are doing that. It should never be that way. There needs to be check and balance, because with the Westminster community, money is involved because it's fundraising. We don't want the board here of elected official, mayor and council to be anywhere touching fundraising stuff. So I'm sorry, that's what's happening, and that's what I was about to talk to John about, if he can shed light on that. So thank you.
Thank you.
No, Casey talks to you.
Our next speaker is Tina Tapia, followed by Ronnie Geyer.
I have enough for you guys to share. You guys know what that means. Good evening. My name is Tina Tapia. I'm a mother who lost her rights as a woman for speaking out about the abuse in our school system. For 3 years straight now, fighting with not only the city of Westminster, but the school district as well. And we're fighting in family court with no response back other than making up lies on who I am as a person. I see something, say something. I just wanted more time with my babies because they grow up so fast. I have no faith in the United States of America, nor do I have support of this, nor do I support this government. I have no choice but to leave my energy behind for my boys. And finally, I hope they read this and understand the other documents that I have filed in the court system. The court system makes it impossible for families to be together and happy. It's all about money, working with schools on how to keep kids away from healing their trauma. The city council shouldn't be involving themselves in GoFundMe accounts. It's money conflict. It's what my ancestors called shaking the voodoo. Amy West, you keep bringing down Westminster PD because you keep crying wolf and using your position like a dictator, like in your own country. Just so you know, the police department, the police, women and men have families to go to. To my offsprings, I'm still here. There's no help. There's just adults running away from bullies. This is what narcissists do, not children. Kids don't act like this. Adults do. Adults with money do. Please understand what you're doing to the children of this community, because what you guys are doing is completely wrong and it's false. Making up false reports, it's not right. The children need better. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ronnie Geyer, followed by Min Vu.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you for 9/11. We all lived it. Thank you very, very much. Well said. That's why I'm here. I'm talking about interactions between human beings. We're made to love and be loved in return. And to feel the sorrow when we see people lose things in a very, very difficult way. I'm Ronnie Geyer. I'm a Vietnam veteran of the first major battles of the Vietnam War. Maybe we were soldiers. Mel Gibson is Hal Moore, who is my commanding officer in Vietnam. I was his regular man driver orderly. It's in the movie. And there was someone else there in the Valley of Death that we fought in. His name was Rick Scorla. And he was kind of like funny, kind of weird. He'd take off his hat and come into our headquarters and talk to people and stuff. So it was nice and stuff like that, except for one thing. He had a head that was at the top, like a point up at the top, and then way down like this, okay? So he was like a Humpty Dumpty. So we called him a Humpty Dumpty. And not to his face, of course, with army guys, right? And little numbers there. But we had little jokes over it about 2 or 3 times. And then after about the 3rd time, I said, wait a minute, Ron, you have a feeling about this man. You know that he's out there. He was very important in our victory in the first major battle of the Vietnam War. And then I had a hole when I got to my cot, a real feeling from deeply inside. What if that man who is capable of so much, and we call him Humpty Dumpty, turns out to be the greatest hero of our unit? Rick Scorla saved 3,000 lives on 9/11. He came back from Vietnam, stayed in the United States, became a physician person. He was Tower 2 in charge of 3,000 people. And he gave his life after he organized people in getting out of the buildings quickly because he knew the terrorist attacks were coming. His goodbye to his wife was, I want you to know on the phone, I love you, and we met late in life, but you made my life. And she said, well, you made my life too. She's watching the television in New Jersey at Tower 2 as it immediately starts to fall down on him. He had gotten everybody out, he went back up the stragglers. Now, I'm bringing up these differences because we're talking about how we treat people and how we make fun of them, and at the same time, perhaps something different is going to, before we would know it, or in God's plan for their life, create something magic, something loving, something real, something really, really real. Thank you very much. You're another one.
Our next speaker is Min Vu. followed by Ronald Lake.
I think the main thing is we, as the residents of Westminster that elect you, or you guys, I think it's very wrong, and we've tried this with this late night communications, and we've got the agenda only. We need to go back to how it used to be, that we could speak first, because it's not our fault that you guys can't get it together and you're all fighting. Not all of you, but some of you, and it's just too much talking. I think we need to be able to have our time back. Otherwise, don't ask for our votes, because you're taking things away from us to make it easier for you, and it isn't easy for us. It's not fair. So I would appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to say we did present to have all the speaking at the beginning, but this council did not want it. Now I put it forward to have 6 minutes each. Well, actually, sorry, 5 minutes each. So we'll bring it again. Okay, thank you, Pam.
They changed it to this.
Good evening, Mayor Nguyen, council member, and all Hardy residents. My name is Mark Nguyen, Westminster. I'm the board president of the Midway City Sanitary District. On the district behalf, we thank you, the city of Westminster, for your generous sponsorship of the district 85th anniversary celebration, which will be this coming Saturday, September 14th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We invite the mayor, all council members, and your families, and all residents of Midway City and Westminster to join us in this free community event as we celebrate a major milestone. We will have live music, kids activities, and serve lunch. Hope to see everyone this Saturday at the district. The address is 14451 Cedarwood Street in Westminster. For more information about this event, you may call us at 714-893-3553. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Deborah Mariscal, followed by Tammy Hamill.
Deborah Mariscal, Westminster. Excuse me, I have a medical procedure today and I don't really feel good. I really wish I would have stayed home, but I think it's important to speak. I agree with Pam. I'd like to have the speaking go back to the beginning. Money West cannot stay this late or till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to comment on 5.2. I couldn't come earlier because I just don't feel good. I work for a vendor for the state of California, and my territory is the entire state. I travel throughout the state to do my job. I entertain clients and work with our wholesale partners. The majority of the time that I meet with them, it is in a mall where there's a restaurant. So we do breakfast or lunch or dinner or whatever. So just in the last month, I've been to Main Place, I have been to South Coast Plaza, I've been to Irvine Spectrum, I have been to San Diego. Last Friday I went to donate blood because I'm O negative and they're after me all the time at the Los Cerritos Mall. Guess what? Those malls are all busy and people have shopping bags. They're not just walking around, they're spending money. So I would like to encourage the council, because I don't know how to do it, to try to get the Westminster Mall owners together and moving. Oh, and by the way, Main Place. And Main Place does have double usage across the street from the mall. The next thing would be, I appreciate those of you that stay through as much of the meeting as you can. If you have to take a bathroom break, I totally get that. But you were elected to represent your district and the district or the entire city. when you are not here, when you walk out, or you come into this, come into the audience, or you don't show for the closed session, you're not doing your job. Do yourself a favor, do us a favor, resign.
Yes.
Before we continue with the next speaker, it was my intention to ask the council to have the oral communication for non-agenda at 10 o'clock today. Truly, that's what my intention was. But because we were in the middle of the discussion of the items, I can't stop that. And at the same time, when I see that there is only one more item, then I want to go. If there was 2 or more, then I would stop that already. But I was in the middle of the things, I can't do that. But my intention is to have the oral communication start at 10. I think it's reasonable for that. Anyway, we'll see if we can do it next time. Next speaker, please.
My next speaker is Tammy Hamill, followed by John Ingrasani.
Good evening. Tammy Hamill, Westminster resident, District 1. One thing I want to make very clear, you do not speak for District 1. You speak for yourself. You and this one are in cahoots to play your political games. You do not speak for us. You just voted against 2 things that were so simple because you didn't get your way. The stupidity that you have, that you cannot follow simple reports, you can't follow answers to questions. You just want to get your buzzwords out, and that's all you care about. They're holding this council hostage by the games that they're playing. That last meeting was a complete debacle. He hasn't even been here. They don't want to do any of the city business. They're literally up here playing games. I've seen them look at each other at the last meeting and then get up and leave at the same time. You want to go? Okay, yeah, let's go. It's all games. You need to look into something. I know last time when I asked you if you were actually advising her, you laughed at me. You were chuckling when I said, are you actually advising her on her bad behavior? It was several meetings ago. I never addressed it. Clearly you haven't been, or if you have been, she doesn't listen. Because it needs to be to the point, she's already been censured and sanctioned, which she tried to get out of. He needs to be next. She needs to be suspended. There needs to be a way to, I'm sure there's a way to do it. And as Terry said before, if he's not going to advise you on it, you need to go to outside counsel. We cannot afford to have these 2 waste more time, vote against good city business because they don't get their way. They play media games out here where they go and she's in the audience and she's shaking hands and she's talking to the media while the meeting is going on. They do not care. It's enough already. People are tired. Our city is wasting away. They're doing nothing positive. You always call for these substitute motions. I wish I could call for a substitute council member. You're useless. Sometimes I feel like I want to just call you garbage, but even at some point, garbage had a use. You don't. You've done nothing positive on this council. Even when you wanted to start that Westminster Foundation, I knew there was going to be something about it because that's just who you are. And sure enough, look what's happened. That's garbage. Because as the person said, Julie, the person on there is talking to you. We don't know that's what's going on. You can try to gaslight, you can sit up here and lie. We all see it. We see it meeting after meeting. We see it on your social media. We see that you just lie. You say whatever you want to say. Even you have to respond to every single person that comes up here. You attack people. You attack staff. Even today, what are you hiding? What are you hiding? What are you hiding? What are you hiding? That's going to come out.
Okay, so Mr. Mayor, I just want to go.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it's funny how, Tammy accused me of all of this, and I'm here listening. And you know what? I appreciate you sharing your concern. I will be praying for you. I will honestly be praying for you. because I think it's important. I know only God can change you, so I will be doing that.
God doesn't exist. It's not working for you. So, and how about not flashing residents? That would be nice.
Our next speaker is John Ingersani.
Next speaker, please.
John Ingersani, followed by final speaker Terry Riss.
Mayor Nguyen, council members. I watched council meetings dating back to December 2022. I wanted to find out what Amy West had done to upset a small group of residents who were constantly at odds with her. I never did find an answer. Instead, I found a common occurrence that was toxic and violated rule after rule, month after month. It became clear to see that the chamber had an elephant in the room. I also noticed that this person was using your TV feed to push their agenda to the public on our dime. I found this to be problematic and met with you to voice my objections and offer simple solutions to the problem. Nearly 1 year has passed and the person continues to wreak havoc to this very institution. The person verbally attacks council members and city attorney without regard for civility or respect. In doing so, the chamber suffers sitting through a hostile and toxic environment. I spoke before you on August 14th in support of my district representative. 2 days later, this person created some issues that led me to file a complaint with the city attorney. 2 weeks ago, as I spoke with you, the person who you knew or you were aware of my complaint began to distract the dice with childlike antics, lip-syncing obscenities, and repeatedly flipping me off. When I found out later, I was stunned that you would allow such behavior in our chamber. I waited all night to speak to you in this incident, expecting you to have my back, only to further be disappointed by your silence. Walking away in disbelief, Councilman West called me back to offer an apology of what occurred. It became clear to me that Amy Fan West had my back. In hindsight, it reaffirmed that many supporters who stood before you to give their testimonial of her unwavering commitment to serving her district, even on a night when she was unjustly punished based on the petty partisan allegations spearheaded by the same person who flipped me off 9 hours before. When this person came before you, did they apologize for such behavior? Of course not. Instead, they berated you and blamed you for allowing the chamber to get out of control. To paraphrase, in all my years of activism, I've never experienced anything like tonight, and went on to threaten you to get your act together and get control of the residents. Really? What more could a person want? Your gavel? I get flipped off. I had my speech compromised, and when I complained, nothing happened. I said you did a hell of a job controlling me. Let me remind you that the residents who come before you deserve better than having to deal with a loose cannon. This insanity will never end until you get your act together and get control of the elephant in the room. If you can't get control of the chambers, I suggest you step aside. Thank you.
Our final speaker, Terry Raines.
We done?
We have a final speaker, Terry Raines.
I was going to ask again for you to adjourn in memory of LaDonna Wayne, but not this meeting again because it's such a mess. Some lowlights from the last meeting.
I don't even know what's going on.
No truer words have ever been spoken by Amy Fan West.
You need to grow up your balls, to be honest.
Are you using AI?
So, Mr. Mayor, stop letting the activists dictate your city that you...
Real classy, fake Christian Amy, your creepy obsession with the mayor's genitals. And let's see,
Big hell no. I'm not going to sign any of that. Go lick me. How are you going to lick me? How are you going to monitor and tell it?
2-year-olds are more mature than the belligerent Amy Fan West.
And tonight I got attacked by one of your activists. Well, buddy. You know? And stalking me in the car. That's when you advocate
I've seen the police report. Great false allegations, as you're famous for, against Carlos, Mike, Kimberly, Charlie, and me. Karma's a bitch, Amy, and you're going to find that out real soon. And let's see.
Why did staff collude with the mayor?
More attacks on staff, every damn meeting.
You guys always fight, Terry Rain, that you don't want, installing your family members, and now we're exposing, and you're a hypocrite. You're contradicting yourself because you guys are on hoot. You know what I mean? And why are you effing us, Mr. Mayor? Why don't you stop her? That's inappropriate. She's flicking her fingers at us. So, Ho and Mayor abused their power by telling staff. Please. I guess Mr. Mayor's not. Don't grow old. John, who's here, Mr. Mayor, he's in your district, he lives across from you. And Terry Rain has been bullying him, and you're not doing anything about it. He sent you an email.
Okay, I put you all on notice already. I will not tolerate being called out by name from the dais or this podium. It's a violation of law that happened over a dozen times at the last meeting. So please, like everybody has said, get it together, get these two under control, or take serious action against it. False police reports, false allegations, it's got to stop or there'll be lawsuits. Thank you.
As our presiders of the meeting, I have many things to do at one time. I couldn't see everything at any moment. So if you know anything, then let me know, and then I can react to the situation. But don't accuse me for what I saw and I didn't do anything. That's accusation, and that's not the right way to go. I ask the council member if there is anything that you don't see it fit, then please let me know so that I can react appropriately. At this time, is there anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, may I make a brief statement?
Go ahead. Brief.
I appreciate Terry Rain for bringing your statement concern up. I know that hurt people, and I will be praying. I will be praying for you, and that's what I can do. And hopefully, you guys will be able to see, deeper than what you guys see and your bias right now. So I'll be praying for you.
We need to find a better God who doesn't work.
Please, I'd like to.
Everyone else is.
Okay, at this time, I know that we are finished with our whole communication, but we still have item number 10 to go. Proceed with that, or if this is going to place the item on the agenda for the next meeting, I think that we need to have consensus from the council that we are going to carry out number 10. No, item 10. Okay. If we skip it, that means that they can't function next meeting. Okay, at this time, I would like, this is the comments and requests for agenda items on the City Council agency members, including AB 1234 report when required. Let's just start out with Councilmember Mezzo.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you all for coming here today, speaking your mind about what's going on, and always being engaged in the community. So thank you for that. I just want to, just say a little bit something about, the solemn day of 9/11. Something that's really important that we always honor and remember those who paid their life, and always remember. Always remember our first responders who sacrificed their life, not only that day, but a lot of those first responders after, the ones that didn't pass away that day, but over the years after, still suffering from that day, physically and definitely mentally. So make sure that we always honor and respect all those individuals. And thank you for our police department for having, along with the fire department this morning, having an honor ceremony to honor them. Thank you for that. Sorry I missed it. And just thank you all. Thank council, thank staff for all you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman. Next is Vice Mayor Hall.
I just want to read a statement really quickly. Today being a solemn day, I wish we had a better, more well-behaved council meeting, but it's just the same as usual. September 11th is a day that holds deep significance and remembrance for many of us around the world. It marks the anniversary of the tragic event, 2001. And really, I vividly remember that day as if it would just happen yesterday. It profoundly impacted the United States and beyond. On this day, we reflect on the lives lost and the families affected, and the resilience shown in the face of adversity. I just want to say, as we remember this day, let us strive to build a future where such tragedies are not repeated and where we support one another in creating a more harmonious world. Let us begin here at the City of Westminster, right here, right now. Thank you.
Okay, next is Councilmember West.
Thank you, everyone, for staying so late. I really appreciate that. Your First Amendment rights is super important to us. And Pam, and with the other resident, it's so important that you guys wanted earlier. We will push for that again because I think that's important. You guys deserve to have all your comments in front, then we can do our city business. I really think that's a fantastic idea. Thank you, Pam, for that. Now, as we celebrate, September 11th, I know that it's a hard day, 23 years ago, that we remember that.
I'm sorry, could you correct that? Not celebrate, right? I don't think we want that. Thank you.
Maybe I will finish. Thank you. I don't, you're my colleagues, we have to just finish. So today we remember in the face of adversity, our spirit remained unbroken. In the aftermath of the attack on September 11th, we came together as a nation, united not only by the grief, but by a shared resolve to rebuild, to support one another, and to stand for the values that define us: freedom, justice, and compassion. And today I just want us to not only honor those who've lost their life, but to never forget September 11th, and how it brought us as a nation together as one united state of America. May we remember that as a nation, not only here local government, and it is more important so, that local government, we should honor that because we are the closest to the people. State and federal is so hard for us to even get an elected official to talk to them, right? So with us here, these 4, 5 mayor and council here, we represent your voice. So when you have any concern, feel free to share to us so that we can bring it up on the agenda. We can agendize to help support your wishes in the City of Westminster. Like I mentioned earlier, I will stand with the resident, with the owners, the businesses in the City of Westminster. We will always keep an eye out. We are the watchdog up here to represent you, and that should be our only interest. And I pray for the council here, the majority, as the mayor, Kimberly Ho, vice mayor, and Monzo, that they will just individually decide what's best for the residents instead of colluding in one as a gang of three, or you call it a dictator columnist, to silence the voice of the other two districts that doesn't have a voice. So I think for the agenda, that they put it up for taking 3 to agendize something on the agenda for other district, I think that is a violation of Brown Act, but also a silencing of the other 2 districts that they don't like. I think it's wrong. Voice of District 1, District 2 will never be represented for the next 2 years, or maybe this November. So hopefully this one, 1 and 4. So it is very important that we have that transparency, that balance of power within this 5 council and mayor. So I ask that the mayor, Kimberly Ho and Monzo, will consider that, and that you are elected as an individual to represent your district and their voice, not by the 3 majority here. Okay? So, you know, there's always time for change, and there's always time for them to change of heart and to do what's right. So I ask that they would do what's right, and I pray for this council, this board, and this meeting, that it will be more of peace, unity, but that we will hear the voice, but that there's a mutual respect of the resident and also the council. So I look forward till this November. I look forward to 2 more years and see how the change can be made within our council here. That we learn to respect one another, the resident among each other, not flicking the middle finger, the birds, whatever you call it, or, you know, yelling at each other or bullying each other's, the resident here. There should never be any of that. We are adults. Let me repeat again, we are adults. Wow. So let's be adults. We're not kids who throw a tantrum. We're past that. You know, our parents raised us well, disciplined us to be a good adult, good citizen that we can give back to the community. So as adults, let's act like adults. Let's not flick each other off. Let's not call each other's name. Not bully each other or discredit or discriminate each other because their values are different. Let's really respect one another, and I mean that. And if you guys keep saying, you know, that I'm bad, then go ahead, say whatever you want, but treat other residents fairly and respectfully, because they are your resident in the city too. I don't care how long they live here or not long, but we need to have that mutual respect of one another, because we raise kids and grandkids. What kind of example are we setting for them? So thank you so much for all. May God bless you, and continue to get involved in the civic local duty, because this is where you can make a huge difference among the council here. God bless you. Have a great weekend.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Thank you, Charlie. Councilmember West, you want to make some?
Yes, I do apologize. I have a motion I want to make because this is the whole.
Can you guys hear me? So I know that we have to make a motion of the item that we want, and I want to put on the item of the Westminster Community Foundation. If we can agendize that and talk and get the input of the resident of how we can change it and make a difference of their, you know, separation between elected official and the board, because that's where it's healthy, and how we can run it better. So we would love to get your input. This is our first round rodeo on this Westminster Community Foundation in the city of Westminster. So we would love to get your input. So I asked the mayor and the council if it's okay for us to get this approved on the next agenda so we can get input from the resident. And I know they have a lot of input to tell us, and we'll take notes for sure.
Okay, I second.
Okay. Question, is it in the form of the items, or is it in the form of a study? Because they want to get the input from their community. So I don't know, is it going to be the...
Can we agendize it, city attorney?
How are we going to agendize that? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, what I heard was the Westminster Community Foundation, a discussion regarding how the city could help make things run better.
Exactly.
But discussion. That could be done in a study session. You could put it on a regular session item. You could do it as a public hearing if you wanted. Whatever you think would be the best format.
Are you looking to have the foundation like present a report about their, what they've been doing the last year, and then using that as your starting point for discussion, or are you?
I just wanted to be like City Attorney. He said there's 3 options that we can do as the council board here. Either a study session or put agendas and they can discuss and talk, and the comment from the public, we can take notes.
Sure. So
on what they want us to change.
So he's providing options of how you can discuss it, but the question is, what are we looking to discuss? Because
we want to discuss how we can improve. Because what we have heard tonight, there's disappointment, okay, and there's disorder, and I want the order. I mean, this is the first time we're doing it. We would love to get the community input. I think that's important, that's fair. And, however we do it, as either the study or agendize it, whatever it is, if we can get their input, that will be perfect, and then we can make a motion to amend, to add this, and, for the Westminster Community Foundation. That's what I'm looking for.
It's probably going to be a study session first, because there's really nothing for this is not a technical thing. There's nothing for staff to provide.
Would we be able to get their input? Would we be able to get their input during the study session?
Well, so I guess that's the other question, right? Because if you're looking for input from like the residents per se, for example, right? They're gonna come, they're gonna speak about the item, or you're gonna have to invite them, and really, the residents, if they're not involved with the foundation, everything they're going to say is on hearsay, right? So, but that's why the suggestion of, if you're wanting to invite the foundation to come and provide a report, this is what's been happening the X amount of time, these are our current members, this is what we're currently doing, we can certainly, help facilitate that.
You know what, I think this will be better, so save time and staff resources. If you guys can get together with the board who's on there now and the volunteer who's on it, get their input and bring it to us, the council on the next one, and then we can read it, and then we can say, you know what, okay, and then with those who are on the board, they would know, they'll make that comment at the next council meeting, and then they'll let us know to affirm that, whatever's on the agenda. Then we're like, okay, I think with what we hear so far, we can implement this X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. So this is so this is not a city board. So what we would be doing ultimately is kind of sleuthing the foundation members, which I would not be comfortable having staff doing these little private interviews or one-on-ones, if you will, with the board. Yeah. So
the next meeting, your next board meeting, which is today, right? When's the next one? It's coming up. So I was thinking, if you can give input to staff, they'll write it down, bring it into the agenda, or if you don't approve of that, what we can do is just agendize and have the comment from those board member to put it in and tell us, and then we'll take notes.
And that's actually the best way. So
okay,
so in the past when they've come up, to present like they were under a presentation, this can obviously be agendized because it's more extensive than just like a
That's perfect.
So
we would take that.
Yeah, so we can do that. Like I said, with a study session, we can do it in that format because given the information, you may not be ready to make to make a decision based on what you're hearing, but we can schedule a study session. I would say I can't guarantee that we can get on the next agenda, only because...
Did you say study session or just on the agenda?
Well, so we agendize a study session. So we've done it before where instead of closed session at the beginning, we've done a study session before. Okay. So it would be at the before our 6 p.m. meeting. Mm-hmm. So, but like I said, I can't guarantee for the next meeting that they'll be available because obviously you want your officers there, you want a good number if you wanted to hear more than one story. So we'll work on that.
I think we can call our board member and have them to come there to tell us. I think that's a great idea, great suggestion, Christine. I appreciate that advice. And if that's okay, we will call our board member to come that day to give us input. If that's okay with mayor and council. I think it's important to how we can approve it, because it seems like the board member who's been on for a year now, they have tons of experience. I would love to hear their input.
What I got was we set up a study session, but what I also heard from the city manager is that you cannot guarantee that it's going to be on the next meeting, because due to the I don't know the background that you need to do, whatever it is. So I want to make sure that Councilmember West understand that if it's not going to get to the next agenda item, then it's going to be the following. You understand that?
Sorry, are you talking about?
Are you talking about the next council meeting?
So what, to just kind of clarify, where you're looking to agendize a study session to discuss the Westminster Community Foundation, it would be for a future meeting, because we're not guaranteed that'll be the next meeting. It's hard enough to try to schedule 5 people. It's going to be extra hard to try to schedule however many is on the board.
Okay, so it seems like it's complicated with your way. What I'm thinking is so basic. We just want their input. So you know how we agendize tonight, certain agenda, and those who are on the board just come and speak, and then we're taking notes. Well, and then we can discuss as a board, a council board here. And then whatever you guys think is want to implement to help that, then let's do that. But that's
Can I suggest that if they can't make it, then you just encourage them to submit something in writing?
Yeah,
So that way you
absolutely.
either or.
Absolutely, I think that's the easiest. Thank you.
You know what? There's one thing that I've been very concerned about is the WCF is really behind in filing tax return. So people keep calling me to ask what is happening.
We are not going to discuss about it today because we are not agendized. So basically, get back to no, because we are not going to discuss about it. We are trying to agendize. So this time we have a motion and second for the item to be put up next meeting as a study item. Am I correct on that? Okay, so motion and second. Go ahead and call for the vote.
Your motion.
Well, the thing is that on that agenda, we're going to talk about how we can help the community foundation. And then whatever they suggest, that's where we're going to take. If they suggest you need to do the audit and look at the books, then fine. Whatever they think that we need to do to make sure it's better. Because this is our first rodeo as the city of Westminster that we create this Westminster Community Foundation. We want it to be a success, so it can be a separate entity that can help the community if the city is not doing well.
Would you please?
So I don't modify anything. I just want to make sure, Mr. Mayor, that we have an agenda item. Those who cannot make it, they can email in what their suggestion and idea is. And those who can make it can come there and speak that day and let us know their input. And then we, as the council board mayor, would discuss.
I understand. So what about this?
What if nobody's going to show up?
Ok, mấy đứa là trẻ con, mấy anh hề này giờ nó tiếp tục nó ngồi để nó muốn đưa một cái nghị trình lên trong tuần trước, nhưng mà tiếp tục làm những cái trò hề ngu dốt đần độn, thành ra mình Khải xin ngừng chương trình tại đây nha. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn trong những chương trình tới. Xin thân ái chào tạm biệt.